Joe, hi. Thank you so much for joining me from the Netherlands.
Thank you for asking me, inviting me, Shannon. Nice to meet you on
And
the other side of
you.
the world.
Yes, yes, good old Zoom bringing us together. I love it. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, I've just got a couple of questions to ask you about this method that we both facilitate. So, the first question is, how were you introduced to this method?
Good question. I've done a lot of personal development because I was burned out in my career as a flight attendant for 23 years, and I had sleeping problems. And after all these things I've done, coaching and psychiatrists and all this, well, all kind of stuff. I have a whole list. I knew that it was me being perfectionistic and had my fear of failure and the fear of being rejected. But I was a tough cookie and I was really a professional pleaser in the air and at home looking after everybody. And a colleague of mine came with me, with a creatrix to me, and she found it on internet. And my first reaction was, oh no, again with women. And my belief was a lot of women things are very spiritual. It's not that I'm not spiritual, but it was like vague, and I was like, I've always been a bit of a tomboy, although I've become a flight attendant. I was a tomboy. And I was like, "Ugh." But she made me curious. So I Googled and I saw before and after videos of what the results were. And I was so, wow, like there's no actor or actress who can fake this. This is real. I need to be doing this too. So without knowing what it was, how it's been done, I just followed my gut feeling and said like, whoa, this is real, this is big, this is really progress. And I started, I signed in with the course, and then I experienced what it did to me and saw with my colleagues who did the course as well, a doctor who burned out when she was young, another therapist, and I saw what it also done with them, and it's like, wow, this is incredible. The world needs to know this. Why didn't I know this before? And so next to the one-on-one reset programs I do with my clients, I've already had a lot of psychiatrists, about 8 or 9, and doctors and coaches and therapists who all know it, but cannot deeply change themselves as well. And yeah, when I felt it myself, what it done, um, I was like, this is a part of my mission to let the world know this is also possible. There's so many beautiful things you can do to, well, to personally growth. But this was so fast and deep and profound. I was like, wow, this is a part of my mission is also to spread it out in the world. So thank you for asking me for an interview. The more women who know, who are ready for change and really feel the necessity to change. I really had to feel that as well to make a big step in my life, more big steps. But then it's trust your gut feeling and just go for it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I love results. I love that it's good that we don't have to go into um, um, the deep shit most of the people have experienced in their lives. Yeah.
Mm.
My
So,
clients even say it's fun. It's fun. I think it's fun as well.
yeah, yes,
And the
absolutely.
results are every time. I've been doing this for more than 6 years. And I'm still surprised. Like I see after the first session, I don't know if you have the same experience. They after with the after measurements, when we ask the questions, what do you feel and what do you believe and how do you see yourself and other people's and how do you feel now? You often see them. Is this real? My last one I started last week was like, I've never felt this before. Does this last? It's like, I know, I understand your feeling. You better get used to it because this is real. And we're just gonna go on and make it
Yeah.
even more real for you.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's the best job. That suits
Mm,
me.
mm, mm.
I don't know about your experience, Shannon. I would love to know as well, but I don't know if in the interview I can ask you questions as well.
You can. So mine was quite similar as well. So yes, I was the same. Like I couldn't remember what I had said with my before measurements, but I knew that the words that I said before and the words that I said after doing a session, I knew that there was a huge gap. Like it was so different. And it was like, am I the same person that was talking before? So yeah, it was really interesting, really interesting. And yeah, like everybody, I think I had the doubts as well, like, oh yeah, is this gonna last? Like this is crazy. Like, how does this even work? Um, yeah, so kind of doubted in the beginning, but yeah, the results speak for themselves. So yep. And that's why I can also facilitate this because of the results that I've had myself. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's important. That's what,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the next question that I want to ask you, and you touched on it a little bit briefly, you said
Yeah.
you had people pleasing and a fear of rejection. So what were you actually struggling with?
Um, I put myself in the last place. I've had mom, the best and most loving and funny mom I could have wished for, the best in the world. But she's been ill for 30 years. Every few years she was diagnosed with or cancer or multiple times and big things. And I was, working in the air, pleasing everybody, taking care of everybody. At home, I had to take my rest because I was working at night, time differences, jet lags. But I didn't take the time to rest because if I would be alone by myself, I would feel very how do you call it? Restless,
Hmm.
because unconsciously, I needed to do something for somebody else. Then I would feel worthy. So in my holidays, I would go on to Kenya to go on um, uh, children camps with orphans, and that would give me a feeling that I was worth it because people would love to be around me. But I was not feeling the same when I was alone. I felt lonely. I felt useless. So what I did to compensate that unconsciously, and I realize, is just taking care of everybody. And when I was on the road, I was like, who needs help as well? And I never listened to my own body what I needed because I was too afraid to be alone with myself. I didn't like myself that much. I was very critical. I only looked to people who did it far better than I did and who had a very worse life than I did. It was not difficult because when I was flying, I wouldn't, rest at the pool. I would go on and uh, go to the orphanages and the schools, the children's schools in the suburbs, the real life. Well, so yeah, and afraid of rejection. Yeah, that's also a big one, a big, how do you call it in English? Root. If you don't, it's a really, I cannot, I should not swear,
Mm,
but F
yeah.
feeling feel rejected. So I did everything to be loved or to feel loved, but it didn't come from me. And now it comes from me, and I got for so much more peace. Sometimes it's like I'm a little bit, sometimes feel like I'm really in peace with myself and my surroundings. Sometimes it could be a little bit more outgoing again, but it's okay. Yeah, inner peace. Ooh. And that's what all my clients also, yeah, say they got out of the research. It's like the inner peace. And doing this in front of the camera, I would never have done that in the past. Never. I love photography, and I love to be, in the past, love to be, safe behind the camera.
Mm.
No, because I only saw what I didn't do right. No, I didn't see the good things on me, on the things I did. And now I even, I've started painting, and I love my paintings. I love what I create.
I
And
love
then I
it.
see the other women in the group, and I see the beautiful things they make, and I say, no, 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 yours is better. And I was like, see how beautiful things you create. But then you see and you recognize what I've done all my life is,
Mm.
yeah, just looking at things that were not right, and the
Mm.
rejection.
Mm.
Critic would feel in the past like, oh, I've done something wrong, and how could I have been that stupid? What would people think about it? And now I compliment when people give me feedback, because I know it's a really big thing to do for a lot of women, because they're afraid to reject other people, because we
Mm.
yeah, we know the feeling of rejection. And she I give her a compliment, like, thank you, and I really mean it. Thank you for giving me this feedback. This is really worthy to me, and it's very strong for you to really speak out clearly, because I was not speaking out clearly, afraid of rejection, of disappointing other people, um, of hurting other people. So yeah,
Mm.
do you recognize anything of that, Shannon? For
Yes,
your
I
story?
definitely didn't have a voice for a very long time. So it took me quite a long time to be able to speak up. And I'd do the same, it was I guess, yeah, the fear of, yeah, all of that, what you just mentioned, really. And scared to show my face. Scared to show my face. And as it turns out, I did get rosacea, but hey, that's another story. I think it showed up on my face because it was telling me I needed to show my face.
Oh, my
So,
mom had it, and to me, she always had this blush on her face, like she came from the Caribbean because of
yes.
this. And even when she was very sick, people thought
Mm,
like, she looks so healthy because of the call it
mm,
rosacea. Yeah,
yes.
cucurosha,
Yes.
we call it in Dutch.
Ah, yes. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
so
yes, let's move on to the next question. So, who would you say you were before doing this method?
the old yo was to the world. If you ask people around me, I was friendly, and I was sometimes a tough cookie who did really adventurous things, which I did. And now I feel more yo. Do you know Pippi Langstrom?
Pippi
Pippi,
Longstocking?
with
Yeah.
yeah, Longstocking. Yeah, in the past I did a lot of things a pleaser. I was a pleaser. Now I'm more like uh, a pure and powerful. That's how I feel. Yeah, more pure to myself. I first think and feel, what do I need? What's good for me? Of course, I still want to take care of people, and I still want to help people, but not when it's hurting me, or it's more important what's good for me now. And when it's good for me now, it's also good for other people. And yeah, so I think that's about it.
Yes, I love that so much. Look after yourself before looking after others.
It's still sometimes, but then I don't know if you experience this the same thing. Then, for instance, I have less clients coming to me, and it's like, okay, what do I need to do differently in my life now? Is still everything the way I like to do the best, or I enjoy the best, or should I do say things differently? And then, no, universe creates time and possibility to grow again. That's to like, oh, what would I like to do else? I've done a lot of live webinars, workshops, retreats abroad, big stages, and it's like, yeah, afterwards it's like, well, would I like to do this more? No, I like this part, but I didn't like this part. So, oh, this is a new challenge. Let's go and see how I can, what I can do in that. So it's more like a play and a game, and it's like, whoa, the waves, going with the waves and trying something else. In the past, I would have not tried it. I had a lot of ideas, but I never went to do it. Never. And now I just do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do it, just do it. So it doesn't block me. It's fun.
And what would you say has been the biggest change for you?
My really biggest present to myself is self-love. That I can look in the mirror, and now as well doing this, it's like, yeah, I'm unique, I'm beautiful, and I don't feel like guilty or egoistic or like, what a lot of women are afraid of when they would say, I feel confident and I like myself, who I am. And of course, sometimes I do things like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Okay. And I feel sometimes with new things, I always keep it's, yeah, it's a challenge but it's nice. It's, that keeps life worth living to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, differences, the new challenges, the new adventures, and yeah.
Brilliant. Experiencing the whole of life. So, who would you say has noticed the changes in you?
Yeah, I never asked, but I remember that a girlfriend of my ex from when I was 25, so it was 30 years ago, and we get along very well, and she's seen me very down in the before period, and she's seen me in the after, and she came to me, and I never expected it from her to ask for help because she's an ex-professional athlete. She's really a beautiful, well, you can see on the outside that she had some issues inside. Like, we're very good in the masks. And yeah, she said, I've seen you change so much. I want that too. I want to change certain things in my life, in my system as well. And another one, I just was my reintegration manager of KLM, the airline. And she's also seen me very down, not knowing what to do else to keep my job in the air. And I had sleeping problems, I had physical problems, I had all these things that kept me from doing my job. And she said, yo, I've seen you change so much. 80% of the cabin crew, the female cabin crew, needs what you've just done. I said, okay, tell me where to start. I said, well, KLM is a big company. They have a lot of fears, fears. So I don't think this is the way to get your clients at KLM. But I've been helping, thank God, a lot of my old clients of the air, the professional pleasers, the pleasers in education, a lot of them, and in healthcare, who are always taking care of other people and forget to take care of themselves. And I don't know if you know, in the Netherlands, there are figures that there's twice as many women who get a burnout. And I've talked to many women who've had it more than once, even one who had 3 times, another one who had 5 times a burnout. I know myself how bad it is for your health. And it's really shocking. So I've got a lot of them who just came out of a burnout or don't want to go back into it again.
Yeah.
And you say like, yeah, let's do it.
So, for those ladies out there that are thinking this is too good to be true, what would you like to say to them?
It's a question I always ask my clients as well on the end when they see their after or their before video. And what I would like to say, we're all worthy of experiencing self-love for the rest of our lives. It's been my biggest present, and I think every human being, but we help women. By helping the women, we're also helping the men and the children. Yeah, feeling worthy. You know, you are worth it. And it's not scary. It's very to the point. Yes, you will feel resistance because your brain doesn't want to have change. That's normal. But probably when you see this, you've done a lot of personal development like we have as well, Shannon and I. And this is really for if you want next level of not only be able to tell it to your best friend or maybe your professional, tell your clients things that you can not only tell the other ones, but live it yourself and show it, walk the talk. And your children will benefit when I hear the stories of my clients, how it benefits their children, how they react, how they interact, how they communicate, and also with partners, how far more open and respectful people can communicate with each other, also with your work. And what my clients do afterwards is all different, but one, you know, goes and divorces what she's been wanting for years. The other one is doing perfect work, beautiful work, but she couldn't show herself afterwards. She's now living in Malaga in Spain, and she's doing all these lives, and she doesn't care. Like, I don't care about what other people think about me no more because it's not mine. And I knew it, but now I feel it. That's freedom. I don't know if you feel the same, Shannon, but that's freedom. Freedom to be yourself. We're all unique. We have all so much to give because I think women, we do things because we want a better future for our children, and we want to have a more loving world, and we want to improve things. And yeah, and it's such a shame if you don't live your heart fully or you burn out because you don't take care of yourself. So that's my, little piece to the world. Please, women, we have so much to offer and so many qualities, and we can do so much more to this world to be more in balance. Be yourself and show the world what you've got to give, and put yourself on number one more often, because that's what you're worth. And that's what you can show to your children, that it's not selfish to put yourself first, once in a while, that you really take good care of yourself. That's our responsibility. That's your responsibility to really take care of yourself. Nobody else can do that. And by seeing and knowing and feeling you're worth it, you can also do it without feeling guilty or in your mind like, yeah. So we're all
Yes.
worth it. And yeah, it's biggest present. One of my clients also said, like, this is the best present you can give yourself. You're taking care of the old shit. And of course, life is with new things or deeper things. We have to reprogram, reset. And that's so beautiful in life. Yeah, that's you grow and you grow further to yourself. And yeah. So I hope so many women in the world, I think how do you say it in English? Not million, but billion? How do
Or
you call
billion
it?
or trillion.
How many women do we have in the world? There's work to do, Shannon.
There is a lot of work to do.
As you know, it's
Absolutely.
only for women who are taking responsibility of their own part. Yeah, 10 years ago, I was not ready yet, because I didn't know it was me doing all the rejection. Since I don't reject myself, nobody can reject me. So I've been on stage and I let it tear. I didn't cry until I was 40 because of all the stories. It was weak. I didn't want to burden anybody. Blah 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 blah. No, it's BS, right?
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yes.
And if
So
we
many
change
of
the
us.
stories, we change the beliefs, we change the stories on the deep emotions of being alone. I felt really alone, even when I was with thousands of people. And now I don't feel alone, even when I'm a long time alone.
Mm.
I'm happy with myself, being myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rewarding, isn't it? So rewarding to be able to be in your own company and be happy being in your own company. Yeah.
And I always needed somebody to validate me. So with dates, I would want to be seen, and with relationships, I wanted to feel that I was worthy. But men feel that when they feel you need something from them, then it's not how do you call it? On unconditional love.
Mm.
There's no asking backwards or.
Mm.
And then I always got rejected. Of course I got rejected. And then my system said again, you see, you're not worth that. You're
Yeah.
not worth the love, because I didn't feel it myself.
Mm.
Yeah. So now I attract different men, and I say no or say goodbye when I don't feel there's anything.
Mhm. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, if you could say one thing to ladies that are starting to become curious about this method, what would you like to communicate to them?
Watch before and after videos and trust your gut feeling, like I did.
Beautiful.
And you can be skeptic. That's human, and that's perfect, because that's our oldest brain who wants to keep us from change. if you really want change, see the before and the afters, and know there's guarantee on the results that you will be able to see yourself the way. That was another review of one of my first clients who also worked in the air. Said, I now can feel and believe what all my loving people around me always told me, that I'm beautiful, I'm talented, and I'm worth it, but I can feel it from within. And you and me, we also know the feeling. So, but we're also the ones who are giving the resets. So I would say go and see the before and afters and see what your gut feeling tells you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the final question, so to the men out there, the men that have a beautiful lady in their life and they see her struggling with her self-esteem, her self-worth, her emotions are all over the place, and she just has compounding stress. What would you like to say to the men?
I love this question because I've got a lot of male friends who are really promoting me to a lot of women around them because they see the struggle. Yeah. And I think the same as I just said as well to the women, like tell your wife or your love of your life, maybe even your daughter, you don't know how old the men are, to see the before and after videos and let them decide if they want to have the self-worth and, the inner peace with, with the emotions. Emotions are great if they are a couple of minutes. Afterwards, it's the stories, it's the BS stories that make them hard on you. And yeah, he cannot force his love to reset her, but he can only, tell her to see the befores and the afters, and then let her decide if she's worth it. Yeah.
Such a supportive thing to do.
What would you say? What would you say, Shannon, to the man? I'm curious about that. Maybe I can say that to the man I know.
Yeah. I would say that if you do have a woman in your life that you see struggling with this, and truthfully, from my experience, I think every single woman is struggling with one of these things, whether it's just the depth that varies. We all struggle with either our self-esteem, our emotions, or stress. So if you do see a lady struggling with that and you really want the best for her, you really need to send her to one of us, because the results speak for themselves. They don't have to go through any stories, and there's a money back guarantee. So there's absolutely nothing to lose. So as long as she's right and she's ready and she's willing and she's open to try something new, the results speak for themselves, and she will get the results too. And you will get a loving partner back, or a loving sister, a loving wife, a loving aunt. So yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. And how would you see yourself before and after, Shannon?
Before and after doing the resets? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your biggest struggle?
Before, I was somebody that was always doubting myself, like always putting on a mask, being who I thought the people wanted me to be, instead of actually being my true self. I'd hide away from conflict. Like if I thought something was going to be confrontational, I'd just backstep. It was like I had that beeping alarm that a car has. Beep, 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 beep. Let's get out of here. Probably without the beeping warning sign. I'd just retreat. Um, Yeah, so I just really felt like I couldn't be myself in a lot of situations. And also, I was quite scared of like people that I thought a bit more authority than me or a bit more educated than me. So, one of my big stories was I'm not smart enough. So, people that I thought of as smarter, I always thought of as a little bit of a threat. So, yeah, I just felt like in so many situations that I just couldn't be myself. And
And how
now,
do you feel now?
yeah,
Yeah.
now I don't really think about any of that, to tell you the truth. It's it's kind of like this past version of myself, and those thoughts don't even come into my mind anymore. So that's the impact that this can have. You have these stories that have been on repeat in your world, in your mind for so long, and those stories hold you back from living and being who you're supposed to be in this world. And when those stories are on repeat and you're not giving that to the world's missing out. So yeah, so that it's given me my power to do something completely different. I've been an employee my whole life, so this is something very, very foreign to me to be doing something like this. But the truth of it and the results that it gets and the results that it's got for me, it's too good to not share. It's too good to not facilitate. Like, yeah, it's the most rewarding thing that I've done.
I completely agree with you,
Mm,
Shannon.
mm.
Thank you for sharing your story too.
No,
We
you're
all have a
very
story to
welcome.
tell. Yeah.
Mm,
And
mm.
and a mission to
Yes,
share the stories, our
absolutely.
experience with
And
our clients.
collectively, we can make a massive change.
That's true. Yeah. And
Yes,
we will. We are already doing it.
we are.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and to share this with whoever watches. So,
Likewise, Shannon.
yes,
Likewise.
really
Yeah.
appreciate your time and so glad we have Zoom so we can connect with each other on opposite sides of the world.
And yeah, thank you for reaching out
You
and
are very
sharing and
welcome.
getting to know each other because
Mm,
we're on a mission and it's an important one.
it certainly is.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
again, and I will see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.